Everyone, welcome to a podcast. Welcome to Jack's Cast. Today we got Iron Horse 10mm,
Iron Horse,
and me, Wojak of all trades on YouTube. Iron Horse on all socials, right? Just kidding.
I have a few different things, yeah.
For some reason I decided to suck on a mint while recording.
I just show up in 2 Minecraft episodes and never show up again.
Yeah, he's busy doing stuff. But today, in this episode that I'm hosting, we're doing state tier list.
Yay!
This is my horrible handwriting, my weird capitalized D. We're going to be ranking the states, but there will be weird stuff happening.
I before E, except after C.
Oh.
State.
I'm taking my first English class in college this semester, and I'm essentially a junior. So that's why.
That's
perfect.
Crazy.
But, alright. I should write out what, so it is S-A-B C. Is there a D tier, or does it go to F?
It goes to F.
F.
There's no E, though.
Alright, so we are going to be ranking states. And it'll be fun. But first, let's do some small talk.
Oh, small talk.
Small talk.
Take me on a date first.
What do you think this is? Just kidding. Yeah.
Great.
So, as a host, I don't have to do small talk, so I just ask you stuff. How's your week been going?
I'll be honest, guys. It was going pretty good. I was kind of like dating this girl for just a short amount of time. I
don't think my viewers know what those are. Just kidding. My 10 viewers. Actually, I think most of my viewers are girls, but
they are girls. They're girls from Asia.
Yeah. If you don't, I don't think any people know this, but yes, most of my 10 viewers are like from Asia. It's pretty funny. I looked at my analytics from like Southeast Asia. It's pretty funny, but
it's very popular.
Yeah.
They want a white man to marry. Anyway, yeah, she dumped me today, and that's not great. And then I got sick because of
you got dumped.
Her. So,
he's a very fragile soul.
Yes. But that's fine. Life goes on.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of studying going on.
There's a lot of fish in the Southeast Asian Sea.
For you.
For me, yeah.
For you. Yeah, it's been alright. Been an alright week.
Yeah. Nothing interesting, just boring stuff. Okay. Thanks, host. Second host. Just kidding, I'm kidding. Okay. Well, what did I do this week that was entertaining? Oh. I think I can keep this in. I don't think it's too inappropriate, but so we both go to a BYU school. School leak. Just kidding. If you can find me on campus, I'd be impressed. But yeah, so I go to BYU Idaho, the better BYU.
He's a cryptid. That's such a lie. You live in the middle of nowhere, a godforsaken wasteland.
We'll get into states later. You can talk about how much you hate Idaho later. But yeah, and he goes to BYU, Provo, and in Utah, which is the better one.
It is the better.
Mine used to be called Rick's College, but yeah, so it's a church school essentially. So Christian, member of Church of Jesus Christ, Latter-day Saints, but essentially Christian school. So very strict, I guess. I don't know. And it's not strict. It's rules that we decided to go that are great standards. They just have
expectations, unlike like any other college in existence. So.
Yeah, and you're not supposed to self-pleasure yourself. So I have a story. This is kind of iffy.
What is the story?
Yeah, you'll hear. I was in my religion class. Okay. No, it's not that. So my professor, no, it's just a story of my professor. So he's on his mission. We do 2 years missions as males in our church. and females can do 18 months for whatever reason. But yeah, he was on his mission and he was talking to this member and or not member, non-member, that they were investigating the church, his family, and his rest of his family was pretty wanted to join the church, but he was kind of iffy on it. So the two missionaries, my professor and another guy, this is like one of the first times they go there. This guy, the guy they're investigating, kind of knows. Let's just call him Jeff. Jeff was very, like, very. He drinks a lot and he looks at magazines because that's what they did back then. They didn't have the internet. So he's like,
Those kinds of magazines, you know what I mean.
yeah. So my professor um, had to go to the bathroom, and he asked, "Oh, can I go to the bathroom?" And then Jeff said, "Oh, you can use my bathroom," and everybody kind of giggled. Like Jeff's kids giggled. His wife was just kind of like doing one of these, disappointed, and he's like, "Yeah, just use it," and he's kind of smiling. So my professor goes into the bathroom, and on both sides are two stacks of just adult magazines. And he goes in there, and then my professor in this story in the middle of class, he's like, "Then 30 minutes later, I came out." He said that in front of our religion class, and everybody was like, "Oh my goodness!" And he's like, "No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding." He's like, "Yeah."
What the heck are they teaching you up in Idaho, bro? You
It was pretty funny and unexpected. It's for this environment. Most people probably don't think that's funny. It was pretty crazy because it's like, yeah, like even at a normal school, I feel like a professor saying something like that, it would just be out of place. But at like a church school, but yeah, no, he just went to the
in a
bathroom like
religion
normal.
class.
Yeah, he just went to the bathroom like normal, and then he ended up throwing away. He burned the magazines, and he actually, I'll tell the story maybe next time. But there's another funny story that he told us.
The elder didn't burn the magazines, though, right?
I think he did. They were kind of loose with
You're talking
rules.
about Jeff. Jeff burnt the magazines, right?
I think he gave them to the elders to burn. Like
Oh,
Jeff, it was
okay.
Jeff's choice to get rid of them.
I was about to say, I was like, we don't normally go into people's houses and burn
Yeah,
their stuff.
yeah, that is kind of
That's
confusing. Yeah, no, he said, "Hey, take these," and the missionaries went and burned them.
that
Yeah,
makes sense.
it's just kind of cool because it's like, hey, I'm helping this person overcome something, and you feel like
Yeah.
burning. I don't know. It's a desire as a man to burn stuff. Burn things,
Yes.
fire.
Burn the sin away. Yeah, you tweaking up in Idaho, bro. That's crazy.
It was pretty funny. Well, yeah,
That is really funny.
let's get into it though. So, yeah, you're gonna rank them all, and I'm just gonna listen. So go ahead, Alabama. Just kidding.
Alabama.
No.
Huh.
I'm
you
gonna
have a
draw a
list of
map
them all?
because I'm not very smart.
Do you not have a list?
Kind of looks like that, right? No, I don't. Here's my map.
I start this podcast.
Here's my map of the United States.
That is a abomination.
Okay. Let's just start from the top. No, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have certain regions because we don't really know the Midwest and like the Great Island regions or Great Lakes, sorry, regions of the United States that well. And I don't know, maybe you do, but I don't.
I
So I'm
know-
gonna kind of group them together because we just don't know. We don't know a lot about. We kind of have like we've
I
been
know,
to certain
like-
places.
I know, like all the way to like Missouri. Kind of not really. I know Missouri and a few states within there, and I know like I've been to Kansas, but nothing. Well, I've been to North Dakota and South Dakota. Actually, I've been to quite a few places, so I can make some judgments on,
All right.
you know, mostly biased without much information judgments that are the
All
best
right.
kind of judgments.
Oh, all right. So you're just gonna judge them by name, I guess. But yeah, let's start with the top. Alaska.
Alaska, I really want to go to Alaska badly.
I've been.
It looks like Colorado on steroids. Like Colorado and Washington like mixed together on
Oh,
steroids.
I see. Oh, because
Like,
Colorado
'cause
is.
it's got
I
water
see.
and
Because
forest
it's
and the
snow.
crazy rocky and the snow.
Because
you know.
Washington isn't super snowy.
No, no, only
yeah.
the peaks.
So I've been. Yeah, it is definitely. I would just come. I don't know. I think it's just like Oregon on steroids. because or Washington. I think Washington's a better comparison because Washington does have like the mountain range. But yeah, it's just you like show up and there's like a little town and there's giant like peaks just right next to the ocean, just raising up, just like it's crazy.
Ah,
Yeah, and
I
it's
want to
just
go
it's
so
like that
bad.
everywhere. You just like go down, it's just like yeah, pretty awesome.
That,
So
that's like a dream.
yeah,
And catch fish there, go hunting.
so what are the parameters? Because like I guess it's I get to choose. So like S tier is
Yeah,
just like
host.
the best, but like the best for what? Should we
The
try to
best.
include everything?
Should we?
That might be get interesting.
Because
And
we're
just
gonna
like
include
looks.
everything.
Yeah, let's just say
Then I don't.
everything. Everything we can think of. So
Well,
I'll play devil's
Alaska's got
advocate.
weird people.
What?
Alaska's got weird people. Like
That's true.
the state itself is amazing, but like if you're like a serial killer and you want to like leave the United States, you go to Alaska. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of weird groups of people
I
out
think
there.
just like not super social people or like people with no social norms, if that's fair. I get super judgy,
Mm.
but I'll stand by it. You Alaskans, weirdos. This game. Yeah, no, I can
Yeah,
see that.
yeah.
It's also not
Every
very
Alaskan I've
fun.
met
It's
has always been
cold, and there's like no sun for most of the year. So, like that kind of
it's like
stinks.
Oregon.
But like
Except
there's no sun. Like it literally like you have like 2 hour days.
oh, that's true because it's in the
Yeah,
Arctic.
yeah. You're like
Yeah.
Oregon. I'm like,
Okay.
what are you talking about?
I
Yeah,
was thinking like cloud cover, not like the fact that the sun literally
yeah,
isn't in the sky.
yeah.
Okay.
So like during
Yeah,
the
that would
winter,
be great.
that
It
kind of
has
stinks.
crazy earthquakes. I know it has
Oh
crazy
really?
earthquakes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like 60 feet drop in elevation earthquakes kind of
That's
stuff.
great.
Like kill entire cities kind of earthquakes.
Yeah. Camping wouldn't be super fun. Well, you would have to go on sunny
Maybe,
days.
maybe during the summer.
Yeah, but
And I
like
know they have like the
it
Chinook
rains
winds
a
and
lot,
stuff.
especially near the coast, and that's where most people live. And I guess we should probably yeah, because most of the population is along the coast. It's going to be rainy and stuff. So
Like Anchorage and Juneau.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I want to go to Juneau. It's
but it
I don't
is
think there's a
very
road
pretty.
connecting Juneau to the rest of Alaska.
What was that?
Like Juneau's the state capital. And I may be wrong, but last time I heard this, it may just be not true. But it's kind of disconnected from the rest of Alaska because you got like this strip, and then it gets really narrow, and that kind of widens out. Um,
Hmm.
I've heard that it doesn't have a road that connects to the rest of the state within the state.
Juno.
So
That
you
might
have
be
to like
true. That might be
exit.
the ferry.
You either have to use boats or ferry,
I've been to
or if
Juneau.
you
I don't.
use a car.
Yeah, I don't remember which one. We went to three places, three towns. I don't really remember which one was. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, they were all just like tiny towns. It was crazy. Like it was being the Wild West.
Okay. Yeah, Anchorage is supposed to be the biggest.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It actually has ports and
Anyway,
stuff.
I put it like probably A. Like people are
A?
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
But
are.
like
I think we are
nature's
kind of.
magic.
Yeah, I think we are kind of biased towards like the natural beauty of places versus like other stuff. So, but it's our list.
Well,
So
and we're also that's true. We're
Alaska starts
also
with an A.
northwestern.
Yeah.
Northwestern. Arkansas.
No, we're going down. Washington.
Oh,
We're
I
like
thought you were asking for other states. Washington. Washington's like
Here's our
less
tier
good
list.
Oregon. There you go. Nice. Uh, amazing. Yeah, like Washington's less good Oregon. It's got more people than Oregon. It's smaller than Oregon. It does have cool mountains.
Seattle's a
Probably
pretty cool
cooler than
city.
Oregon's.
Like it has a lot of stuff to do.
Seattle's gorgeous. And the Salmon Islands are amazing.
Yeah.
Like really my favorite place on earth, probably. That's not because it's Washington, but like if I wanted to retire, I'd probably retire in the Salmon. Like if I had money, which
Yeah.
I probably won't because I'm gonna be a history.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
um but yeah, like I'd rate Washington as an A
Yeah.
because people, even though there's a ton of people, Seattle's amazing, great food, lots of culture, gorgeous, just gorgeous.
I will say
It's amazing.
Oh.
Gorgeous.
term of impression. Count one. I'm just kidding. I will say, Oregon beaches are better. Seattle doesn't have very good beaches.
Yeah,
That's the one thing
yeah,
that
for
we have
sure.
because we have kind of California style beaches. We're not as warm as California, obviously, but we'll get into that next. But yeah, I'm just saying like Washington beaches aren't there because they're in a harbor. It's really weird. Like most of Washington is like
Puget Sound.
yeah is like where
Um,
Seattle is. Like there's not really a lot of coast towns. Like, Oregon has a pretty decent sized towns on our coast, and
that's
Washington just
all, like,
has Seattle, and it kind of like comes
yeah.
in where everybody
But
lives.
but
Yeah.
the Puget Sound itself is amazing.
Yeah.
The Puget Sound itself is amazing. Like, it's warmer than the rest of the ocean water,
Oh, that makes
and
sense. Yeah.
it's just a good state.
Yeah.
Like that part of the state is amazing, and you got tons of boats going around. You don't have to worry about storms as much. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
like
true.
that's really cool. And you have
Yeah.
islands you can live on in the Puget Sound. It's
Yeah.
warmer than if you have orcas and stuff in the water. So the Puget Sound for me is kind of what sells Washington.
What
Um,
about the other side of Washington? We haven't really considered that.
it's I had never been to Spokane,
Spokane's pretty
so
big though. Like
um,
compared to a lot of cities, like Oregon
I've
doesn't
heard
really
it's
have a
really
lot, but Washington has Spokane, and that's pretty
big.
big. Not as
In
big
our
as Seattle
biggest
though.
city and the biggest, well, obviously, I'm surprised by how big Spokane is, and it's
Hmm.
still conservative, right?
I don't know. It's probably
I'm sure it
split.
is.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't been to Spokane. I can't
Me
really
either.
speak to it. The only really
Yeah.
Eastern Washington that I've seen that isn't like Coeur d'Alene area, which is amazing, by the way. That's the only good thing about Idaho.
Yeah.
Is is the southern half that's on the border with the Columbia, and I think I-80 something
Yeah.
runs along that, and that's desolate.
It is
This
a
it's
really
just
pretty
rolling.
drive though. The gorge. Yeah.
Well, the gorge itself is amazing, but
Yeah.
that's when you get further west
Oh, I
in the
see.
gorge. Once the gorge really gets deep, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about like I-80 after you've really gotten out of the
Yeah.
main
It's
depth
pretty
of the
flat.
gorge, and it's flat
There's a
and
lot
there's
of
like
wind turbines
tons.
though, which are kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, run turbines. So yeah, I mean that part of Washington's ugly. So
Yeah.
I'd rate it
A.
A, A,
All right.
another A.
We got to
Alaska,
have some stuff in
Washington.
S. And I guess I'm assuming Oregon's going to be in S, but we'll see.
Yes,
Um,
Oregon is going to be in this.
yeah, so
That
that
state, that
we need to
state.
go a little bit faster through these.
Yes, we're gonna go.
Um,
We're gonna. It's already 20 minutes in.
yeah. So,
Oregon speedrun.
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
love the trees, the mountains, the
Wait, no, we
water.
have to go back and forth. We have to go back and forth, and you can't say dumb stuff like
Oh,
that. You have to say specific stuff. Like that's like unique to Oregon. Um,
those
I
are.
can't think of anything. Trees, mountains, water. Um, Portland is a pretty city, so I'll say Portland.
It's gorgeous. Portland's
Yeah,
gorgeous.
and it's got a cool like
You have to clarify Portland for like
old
views.
Portland. Oh, it has a lot of crazy people, but um, it's just
Dude, I
it's
was
on.
doing
It reminds
deliveries.
me. I compare it to San Francisco almost because it's like kind of on a hill, at least some parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know. It's just like looking down at it. It's
So is
like and it's
Seattle.
like a small city. It's nice. It's got all the stuff you want, all the cool, fun food places. So, but there's a lot of crazy
It
people.
just happens to be full of insane
Yeah.
people.
All right. That was
Don't
my.
go to northern Portland. It's an
That was a
awful
very
place.
slow
We're
speed
not
run
done
on
with
my
Oregon.
part. All right, your turn.
We're not done with Oregon because I was doing deliveries. So for the record, people, Jacob is from the Portland area. So he doesn't live in Portland, but he lives around there,
Yeah,
Portland metro area. And so that's the reason why he has a soft spot for Portland, even though he kind of hates big cities.
I do.
Um, I'm from an hour south, Salem, which is the capital, and it it's the second most populous city, but it by far is a lot smaller. It only has 170,000 people in it. Um, and so he has a soft spot for Portland, but everybody else in the state hates Portland,
I don't.
unless it's for
Okay, let me
food
clarify.
or for,
I'm comparing
or
Portland as
for
a city
well,
to other cities, and like, yeah, I'm just saying Portland's the better city, and like it's people like cities, so I'm putting that in there. Yeah, like you said, I really don't like cities, and I never go into Portland. I'm just trying to compare it to other things. That aspect.
It does a lot of good food. Columbia, running along the border in the Willamette, really fun to take boats out in, and a lot of water stuff you can. Portland, for a big city, besides the crazy political nature of it, pretty cool city, for
Yeah.
sure. I like Salem. Boring. Really boring. I love
Yeah.
there's
It's
nothing exciting going on in the capital, and it's
Salem is
very
also
quaint.
very small. Like when you think of a city, but Salem is not like what you think of a city. Like it doesn't have like the tallest building
Yeah,
there is how tall? What do you say?
it's like probably 5 or 6
Yeah.
stories. There's
So
like 3 of them.
Portland's an actual like skyscraper city. Salem is
Yeah, it's got
big, but
skyscrapers.
it's not like it's mostly just rural like
It's like
stuff.
it takes a lot of landmass, yeah, but like the city kind of annexed a lot of the rural neighborhoods, and so
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of suburbs and farms and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's really quaint. Um, I don't like Eugene. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Boo
It,
Ducks.
very pretty city, but yeah, the Ducks are nasty.
Yeah. That's a football team
But
for all you college
yeah,
football team.
or a
Yeah.
University of Oregon, yeah. Um, anyway, Oregon coast is amazing when it's like 3 months out of the year, and
It's true.
mountains are great. Like if you live in the Willamette Valley, which is on the western
Yeah.
half of the state, you have mountains, mountains. You're in the middle, but if you cross the coastal mountains, you get to the coast, and
Yeah.
then there's the ocean. So like everything, at least where I am, everything's an hour away. Like if you want to
Yeah.
go, there's like Oregon has every single type of biome you would ever want. It's just a great state. It's got everything.
Yeah.
And even though people are kind of weird, where I'm from, where Jacob's from, Jacobs is way more conservative than where I'm from. But
Yeah.
even where I'm from, we're not like that politically crazy. Like
Yeah.
Salem, the capital, 50-50.
And yeah, where
Politically.
I'm from
Eugene and
isn't
Portland.
like it's not like the country. It still has like its fair share of. It's diverse. Not as diverse. Knowledge is more 50-50. Mine's more like 60-40, maybe 70-30. But yeah.
Yeah, because you do have a lot more like rural rich folks that commute to Portland for work.
Yeah, there's
'Cause you're
in
in
Oregon
suburb.
we have like Nike and Intel are like the two bigger ones I can think of that people know of companies. Intel makes CPUs, Nike makes I don't know, I'm just getting shoes and clothes. Everybody knows Nike. So that's actually where it's really close to actually where I live, like 10 minutes away. So
Yeah.
I actually grew up
So,
next
yeah,
to
I mean-
the grandson of Phil Knight. Kind of cool. He was a punk, but oh no. This guy I didn't know. That's just what I heard from other people, so I shouldn't spread rumors. He's probably fine. All right, we got to
No.
move on. Oregon A tier
We love Oregon. Nope, S.
or S tier.
Put that
Sorry, I
thing
meant
up
S. I was said A tier and now I was writing it down in S.
Okay. S tier. S
All
tier
right,
state.
we go fast.
Yes.
California goes in C tier.
Godforsaken wasteland. Godforsaken wasteland. That's that's not true. California is beautiful,
Yeah,
but there's people, and that's the problem.
the people kind of bring it down. We also have a lot of transplants. So like we have that in Oregon. We have a lot of people from California coming, so that kind of sours her taste
California's
of
weaker.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because
yeah,
they
we
turn
will.
the state more like we're not like I'm not necessarily a very politically lenient. Like I don't lean to one side or the other very much.
Yeah.
But I don't like it when my state gets turned like Democratic supermajority because all the Californians moving.
I know
It's stupid. Like they raise the prices.
we're very like modern. I think I don't. There's a whole politics thing we can get into, and I don't know. This might not be the place.
could
But
have a
we're nice
if you
people. We
want to do
promise.
that.
I think we can have conversations with both sides. But yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot of. I
just
feel
don't
like
like-
people can agree. There's a lot of extremes in California, like extremists in California, that
Yeah.
come up and
And the
we don't
cities
necessarily
are-
like them. So extremists on both sides are bad,
Like I don't know why Portland.
but
Yeah. And I don't know why Portland was like in the news. I mean, I know that there was riots in Portland and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but like L.A. and San Francisco are so much worse.
Yeah.
Like
Just because they have more people too, and
so
yeah,
much worse. Like and so,
yeah,
and they're not as pretty.
yeah,
But that's
yeah.
just
No,
in California, weather-wise, amazing. Coast, amazing.
it's funny, but the
You can grow a
places in
lot of things in
California
California.
where people don't live are like the prettiest. Well, except the desert, obviously, but like
Yeah.
Northern California, like nobody lives there, and it's like
Oh,
I don't know why.
so good.
And
The
there's probably
redwoods.
reasons why, but it's yeah.
Yeah.
So
I would say, you know what? I'm promote it from C to B. B tier.
I honestly say
B
A,
tier state.
because what did we say about Alaska?
You
We said
say A?
Alaska was pretty, but we didn't like the people, and that's kind of the same thing with California.
That's true. Our values are mostly based off of the land. Yeah.
And
It
California,
doesn't have
I
the
feel like
same
has the
beauty as
best food in
Alaska.
the world,
But yeah.
and Alaska
Well,
is like
it has a
has
very
salmon.
um that's true. Halibut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like yeah, I guess. Yeah. So
Let's go
yeah, A
B.
tier, but with an
We can
asterisk.
go. We'll put in low
B?
A
Okay,
tier.
B.
Low A tier.
Low A tier.
I'll just do Cal, or I'll do it the full
Making
thing. All right. So,
areas
all
with
right. Now we
the
will
next.
speed run. Hawaii.
And their flag is sick. Their flag is sick, by the way.
It is pretty
Hawaii,
cool.
is just cool. I love Hawaii. It's awesome. My parents met in Hawaii. I visited Hawaii when I was younger. There's nothing negative to say about Hawaii.
I got
I
some
mean, like
stuff.
the people there, it's island time. So if you're some person that arriving on time is arriving early, you're not gonna like Hawaii. But uh, if you just want to relax and eat freaking amazing food on an island in the middle of the ocean with amazing water that like feels like you're in a bathtub,
Yeah.
um, with all sorts of wildlife and amazing mountains, and if you're on Oahu, World War II historical history, like it's
Yeah.
heaven. So I'd say Hawaii. Politically, Honolulu makes the state blue, but I'd throw it S tier. Gonna be honest.
Really?
There's really no
All right.
there's really no objections I have to Hawaii.
I will say, yeah,
Like, what
I
are
have
your
some stuff to
opinions?
say. I don't like hot. Hawaii is hot and humid a lot. Um,
But so is like Oregon during the summer.
compared to Hawaii,
Like Oregon's like hotter than Hawaii during the summer. Yeah, Hawaii's humid. It's more humid than Oregon, but not by a ton. Like you ever been to the South? Have you ever been to like the South?
no, the south of the United States, I think, or South Hawaii. No, I don't know. I think it's
The
just the
South is a different
sand.
beast, yeah. So
Yeah,
comparing like Georgia to Hawaii,
yeah. I was just comparing like Oregon
okay.
to
I'd say
Hawaii. Yeah. And also the desert or the jungles are just awful bug places, and it is pretty. I'll just put it in low S tier because I'm the host and I can do what I want. Um, and I'm not a super big like beach guy. I'm more of like cold. I don't know how to spell it. Okay, and I also I don't know how to spell stuff. All right, Hawaii. What's next?
Hawaii.
New Mexico.
What? If
I'm
we're, if
going
we're
up.
going like this, we got down to California, then we're going up. No, that would be
Yeah, what's there?
Arizona or Nevada.
Okay,
Uh,
I don't believe
what's
you, but
there? Not a lot. Arizona. I mean, which one do you want to do? Nevada. Nevada would
whatever.
probably be the
Yeah,
best one.
the one next on the list. Yeah, Arizona.
Okay,
Oh,
Nevada.
I was close.
Nevada
New
has
Mexico's right next
nothing.
to Arizona. Just saying.
It's a state away.
All right.
It's closer to be underneath Colorado than anyway. Um, doesn't, or not Arizona. Nevada doesn't have anything except Vegas. So, and it's 120 degrees. It's hell.
No, we're going to Arizona.
I'd say fat
Arizona.
old.
Arizona.
We're not doing Nevada right now.
Nevada doesn't touch the Mexican border. Or Mexico's
Okay,
border.
Arizona. Arizona, I have very very similar feelings to Arizona as I do Nevada, except they're more strong because our family left Oregon and went to Arizona
Yeah, they kind
because they
of
didn't like
were
Democrats.
traitors.
Um,
Don't listen to this
yeah,
family. We love
traitors to
you.
Oregon.
Just kidding.
We love you, but
All right,
we're
but I
still
have some.
upset by that.
I have pros to Arizona, so
Like the Grand Canyon, that's it.
that's
Like,
no. I really like having. I don't know. So I don't want to speak for Elijah, but favorite video game Fallout New Vegas. If you haven't played it, chat. I actually might put it on my
there you
channel.
go. Yeah, playing a video game is nice in the 120-degree temperatures. Like,
I just when I go to Arizona, I just feel like, and I also like my favorite types of movies are like gritty and rough and like or just content to absorb, and like westerns are like embody that so well. And I just go down there, I feel like a cowboy. I just want to do cowboy stuff. You know, it's hot.
you know, you could do that like in Utah or Eastern Oregon or
But it's like Arizona, it's like
Colorado.
red. Everything's like red,
Or-
and it's pretty cool. And there's like cacti that are just like,
and
they're
it's
cool.
120 degrees.
And like they have cool mountains there. Nobody goes to them, but they're cool.
because you'll die.
Yeah, and like the cities
Because if
are
you go
like,
outside for more than 10 minutes, you shrivel up into a raisin. That's why.
yeah, but that's like their winter time. But and yeah, you only go outside. Also their cities are like they're newer, and so they're just like nicer. I don't know, because like everything's just new. And like especially
Disgusting.
where our family lives, it's like it's all like new construction everywhere, so everything just looks like nice. Versus like in an older city, it's like, or like in Oregon at least, like the buildings aren't like, they're not old enough where they're cool, and they're not like new enough where they're cool. They're just kind of in this weird middle area. Arizona, it's all like new and cool. Versus like something like Boston is like old and cool.
I hate
Yeah,
Phoenix.
and I've only been to where my family's at in Arizona, so, and I did drive up through it to like meet somebody like a couple hours north, and I heard northern Arizona is super cool. Like, 'cause there's actually trees and it snows.
Because there's Flagstaff,
Yeah.
which is supposedly cool. I've never been there. But it snows and has trees. So that sounds cool. I've never been to that part of Arizona. Grand Canyon, freaking amazing. But those are the only things. I'd throw it as a D.
A D? There's no D.
A D.
Oh, B? As in Bravo?
No, a D.
There's no D.
What type of tier list did you make?
I don't know. Oh, you said
Okay,
there's no
C.
E. We're not doing a D. We're cool.
C. C. It's a C.
Really?
It's a C. Yes.
All right. I'll put it as a high C. All right, we got to go faster.
A C.
We'll start going faster when we get farther across. But now we are
Well,
going
once
to
you're in the Midwest,
Utah.
you don't know what's going on.
Or no, Idaho.
Utah?
Idaho. Oh no, sorry, Nevada.
What?
Nevada.
Okay, Nevada. Nevada, I'd throw right next to Arizona. All it has is Vegas, and all you do there is
Sin
gamble
City.
and
Yeah,
So,
I haven't had a lot
I
of
don't-
experience. I've only driven through Nevada on like that long stretch, and it really doesn't. It has like Death Valley. Like that's this one or park, right? It's like Death Valley.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like that's
you
like
died.
probably one of the worst. It's called Death Valley. Arizona's low though. I would put Nevada in C, and then put Arizona in B.
You can put it as a low C. We're not putting Arizona in B.
I'll put it next to Arizona. But it's like low. It's like low. But I don't feel like Nevada.
It's
I don't know.
the same thing. It's the same thing as Arizona. It's literally the same thing as Arizona, except it doesn't have the Grand Canyon.
I
That's
think
it.
Arizona's better because it's like more red and has a lot better like Mexican culture, like, and has the delicious food. I think versus Nevada, I don't
What
think
about
has
New
that as much.
Mexico?
Huh?
It's almost like New Mexico has a lot of Mexican culture.
Yeah. You get the
Perhaps more Mexican culture. Perhaps it's a better state than Arizona.
I don't know. All I know is Breaking Bad, but we'll get to that. Okay. Nevada, we're done. Idaho.
Idaho,
I'm
God
putting
forsaken.
S tier.
God forsaken
S
place.
tier.
God forsaken place.
Tier.
That is a.
S tier.
It is a
S
wasteland
tier.
full of
of abominable people
It's full
all
of
going
good,
to hell.
hard-working
That's
farmers, hard-working farmers, and national
all they eat is
parks.
potatoes, and they hate people that look different than them.
What's
And
your favorite type of
they're just
food?
a
What's your
bad
favorite
state.
type of food?
It's a hamburger.
And
Hamburger.
and
Did you know that the largest potato brand in the United States is Ore-Ida? Oregon, Idaho.
so essentially
And
you're
did you
saying
know-
Oregon and Idaho are the same.
No. And did you know that Oregon's? I don't know why they did this. In 2023, Oregon's state vegetable became the potato. I really don't know why
Oh,
they
really?
did that, but
That's funny.
but yes.
Like pine
All they
tree or
have is
something.
potatoes, dusty fields, dumb people.
Oh my
and-
goodness. Listen
And
to this
it's just
guy.
a bad-
Idahoans attack him
it's a bad
with a
place.
vengeance.
It's a bad place.
Take him out. He's
I'll
not
tell
a
you, the
strong
one,
boy.
the
He didn't eat
one,
enough potatoes as a kid.
the one spot in Idaho that has any sort of redemption is Coeur d'Alene.
Yep.
And that's a tiny little panhandle that should probably belong to Montana or Washington. So, like, no. Idaho has nothing redeeming about it except Coeur d'Alene. And that really probably shouldn't be theirs anyway.
All right. Idaho is in B tier.
No, C.
No, B. I am using my flag. You said you want it F tier. I want it S. B is the middle. So I'm putting Idaho there.
Fine. I disagree with that, though.
I disagree with it too, but we got to compromise. That's what we have so far. Chaz, you look at my beautiful. All right. What's next? Washington or Montana? Montana.
Probably. Okay. What about Utah?
We'll go down to it. We're gonna go Montana, Wyoming, Utah.
I love Montana. Montana's great.
It's the same
I'd
thing as, it's literally the same thing as Idaho. It's like
God.
there's less people.
No, it's not. It literally is not. It
Most of Montana
literally
is just a frozen wasteland.
No. If you go really north, it is. The eastern half of Montana looks like North Dakota, and that's awful. But if you go to the western
the
half of
same
Montana,
amount of Idaho that's green is the same amount that Montana is green.
that's not true.
What?
No, Montana, western Montana, beautiful Rockies, green as you can, far as you can see. There is a part. It's actually kind of interesting, like driving through Montana, and then you kind of hit the part where it starts to get more arid.
Mm-hmm.
Wide open spaces, and it's got way more mountains than Idaho. It's just great, like wide open spaces. When I think of wide open spaces, I forgot what the state motto is, but it has something to do with the sky.
Oh, really?
Big skies.
Big Sky State or
Um,
something.
Yeah, something like that. And like that's the way I feel whenever I go to Montana. It's just really like vistas, just
Yeah.
makes you feel very small.
A tier.
I'd say A tier.
Okay. All right, A tier. Okay, we got to move on. Wyoming. I don't know
I've been
much
to
about Wyoming.
Wyoming's got Yellowstone, but then
Yeah.
it's also got a lot of desolation. So that's probably like a B.
A B. Sure. All right, Utah.
Utah. So I live in Utah right now, and it's an interesting place. I'm a Latter-day Saint, obviously. I'm going to be by you, but there's parts of it I really like. At least my experience being here. I've got family here. Generally, outward view is that everybody's pretty Christian. Everybody has pretty good morals and values. But then also what comes with that is a conformity.
You get a weird,
Um,
you get a weird thing where your culture
Yeah.
is kind of Christianity, which it's not supposed to be your I
Yeah.
don't know.
So a lot of people will be members of the church culturally,
Mm-hmm.
and they won't actually have any necessarily good belief in what we believe in, which
No.
as a
And it's
Latter
not
Day
like it's not like you need to be a member of church. It isn't like you have to have a perfect belief in things, but you should always be striving, or want to be striving, I guess. And it's not like we're gonna kick you out on the street, but it's like that's like the whole point is to be like striving to become better, and like there it's just kind of like I have to appear to live to this standard because it's like a cultural thing versus like I want to live to this standard.
Yeah, yeah. So there's, as an Oregonian Latter-day Saint, I had to kind of fight for my beliefs, right? Because we're not necessarily super popular nationally, and but here in Utah, you can kind of just glide along in your faith without having to actually ever really believe in it.
Yeah.
Which is very foreign to me, and I don't like that. I think that you should have to believe. Not that you should. Not that if you don't
Faith
have belief, that's a bad thing.
Without
but,
works is dead.
yeah, faith without works is dead, exactly. And any Protestant hearing that may not like that. But
Yeah.
that's what we believe.
Also,
anyway,
works without faith is dead as well. It works both ways, but
exactly, that's true because we need grace to be saved. Utah, deserty. Moab's really cool. I went up into the Provo Canyon recently. That was really fun. So it's pretty.
Yeah.
I haven't
It's
been
got
here for
nice
the
mountains.
inversion. Yeah, I haven't been here for the inversion yet, which is
Same.
like supposedly all the air gets trapped into.
Oh yeah, you're in the
You-
most polluted. Salt Lake, that valley you're in is like the most polluted place in the United States because it all gets
Makes
trapped in the mountains.
Yeah, yeah, and it also we have like oil and gas refineries and stuff that I
Yeah.
don't know how well. That's one thing I don't like about Utah. One thing that I was astonished as an Oregonian was there's like no recycling. You just throw everything away. It's like
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
it's really uncomfortable
Yeah,
as
I felt
somebody
really
that you know.
weird. Yeah, crushing up plastic bottles. Like yeah, we do that here too,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like you feel bad throwing it away, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they do.
Well, and as somebody that like I don't know, like in Oregon, plastic bags are banned.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Literally.
and so they just give you, they'll like triple bag your bag, and it's like,
Yeah.
do I have to pay for that? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I do like being surrounded by people that are, and that's just the college experience, but
Yeah.
being surrounded by members of the church that do share my faith and
It's
aren't
nice.
just-
I've noticed this also going to essentially to the outside world the same college. We're essentially going to like the same college.
yeah,
And yeah, it is interesting because a lot of people who end up at college are pretty strong in the faith because usually they get, this is a bad way of saying it, but like they get weeded out essentially because you turn 18, you're
Yeah.
like, I don't have to do this anymore. They go do whatever. But the people who like go to these church schools usually decide themselves that they want to go, so they have the same beliefs
Yeah.
that you do.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's really nice compared to Oregon where we
I don't
didn't know anybody.
yeah, yeah. And here in like, I know Idaho is a bit easier to get into, but in Provo, BYU Provo, it's a pretty difficult school to get into. So
Yeah.
to get into it, you
It's
really
nice though
want to
because
get into it.
people who don't know a lot about BYU schools, they hear BYU Idaho and they don't think it's different at all. So it's like it's pretty
Yeah.
nice, even though it is. It's literally, you literally have to write essays, and you don't have to write any essays to go here. Like it's
Yeah. I
actually
had to write
like
5 essays.
yeah,
5
Zero.
essays to get
I didn't have
here.
to take the SET.
And then I had to
Well,
do 2 more afterwards. But yeah,
it
going to
was
Idaho, you
COVID
don't
when I got into school, so I didn't have to
do.
do a lot. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say that word actually. Whatever. We'll see what happens. The virus that happened a
Utah-
couple years ago.
Yes, that's okay. Utah, I would put it as a solid like B.
B, you think with Idaho? Oh, you didn't decide on that. Okay. Yeah, that's fine, I guess.
We had to compromise on that. I mean, like,
I
maybe a
would put it
low
as
A.
A tier, cause wait here. Oh, this is what it's gonna bump it up today, right here. Zion's National Park.
I've actually never been to Zion.
Okay, well that makes it an A. I like it better than the Grand Canyon. Like, it's just
Really?
the vistas are like, and there's just there's this crystal clear like blue water, and like these red rock formations, and it's just like miles of this, like this perfect, and like
I
this
really wanted
green,
this.
bright green trees, and like this blue, dark blue water, and the red. It's just like all these colors. It's awesome.
I really wanted to go. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been to
Podcast?
Moab, which is kind of close
And,
to it.
just kidding. Yeah, no, I've heard it before.
Podcast in Zion.
Zion?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay,
Like a
so I
vlogging
wrote
camp.
That's I literally wrote Zion in the A tier. I meant Utah. Oops.
Well, Utah is Zion, you know.
It's true. Okay, yeah. So we're spending a lot of time on stuff we know, but as we go along,
Oh yeah, we'll hit the stuff we're
all right.
unfamiliar with.
New Mexico.
It's kind of cool having a massive reservation that takes up like half the state.
Oh,
I
really?
thought that was really neat. Like just as an outsider being like, oh, there's a lot of Puebloans. Um, and so yeah, that's kind of cool. Really good food, crazy impoverished. Um,
Yeah, I heard it's not like it's kind of a lower like. Oh, I don't know. I heard like the show Breaking Bad really like embodied what it is, and it is kind of like a lot of not lower class, but a lot of like people like Walter White in Breaking Bad, who's just like a teacher who's barely going by on life. Just a lot of like people in that scenario. Like they have houses, they have cars, but they're kind of living paycheck to paycheck almost.
it's a pretty rough state from
Yeah.
everything I've seen about it. Like the education system's not very good.
Hmm.
That kind of stuff. Like it just
It just
it's
kind of
kind
gets
of
forgotten. I feel like.
mm,
I think
yeah.
that's fair.
And everybody moves to Arizona instead of New Mexico.
Yeah.
It's also because New Mexico has to share resources with the natives,
Mm.
and Arizona. I mean, there are reservations in Arizona, but not nearly as large as
Really?
Navajo. That's what it is. The Navajo. The Navajo reservation is literally like half the state. It's gigantic.
Yeah.
It's the largest Indian reservation in the United States. Um. Anyway, so yeah. Four kind of neat. I
C
just
tier.
drove through and got food. Yeah, throw it and see.
All right. Just because I don't know, I just feel like there's not a lot to talk about with it.
Yeah.
New Mexico. Okay. What's above it? I turned off my map, and I spelled Mexico horribly wrong. Colorado. Oh yeah. I'll let you talk. Just kidding.
I like Colorado a lot. The western half sucks. Sorry to like 90% of the population of Colorado, but Denver and Boulder and all those places are just they got a neat view of the Rockies, but it's just prairie. I
Yeah.
don't know why I don't literally don't know why you want to live there. It's awful. And the airport is run by the Freemasons and they're
Hey, which is
sacrificing
part of us, our
lambs
church.
underneath
Just
it.
kidding. All right. You
Exactly.
have
Freemasons.
one sentence that embodies all of Colorado. All of Colorado.
One sentence.
Or like the best part. I don't know.
The best part?
You just have one sentence to explain what you want to put out there, I guess, about Colorado.
It is the perfect combination of mountains and wilderness in one place.
Okay. I like it. B tier.
And the
Just kidding.
western half. No, I would say A tier. A
Yeah, I'll
tier.
put it
A
in
tier.
A. I want to put it lower just to in spite. But I don't really have a
Wow.
lot to say. The part I've been to
Why,
Colorado,
why are you in spite of Colorado?
it kind of reminded me of Arizona almost, just because the same family who moved from Oregon were in Colorado for a little bit. And like where it was at, it was kind of a newer area, and that kind of reminded me of where I was at in
And it was
Arizona.
on the eastern half, which is the bad side.
Yeah, at least the western half was. Oh,
No,
double
the western
standard.
half is the Rockies, like the main Rockies.
Okay.
All the gorge.
So we're just gonna put this all in one region, the North. So this is gonna go North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota.
Okay, so I've never been to any of those places except North
either.
Dakota, South Dakota.
I think I've technically
And-
driven through them, but no,
I've
I
been to
drove to
Iowa and
Kansas
North
actually.
Dakota.
So no, I haven't been through those. Yeah.
So, North Dakota, South Dakota. North Dakota is a godforsaken wasteland.
Which one has
Nothing
the
there.
presidents?
That's south. South.
Yeah. I heard that's very
Um,
underwhelming.
North
by the way,
Dakota
but-
literally has nothing. Like there's nothing in North Dakota. It is flat, it is dead, and it is cold. And that is all you have. And the summer supposedly gets really humid and awful and muggy. But it's just dead. I mean, the only cool thing we happened upon in North Dakota, and we drove across like a lot of North Dakota, was well, they got a lot of oil if you like oil. But they
Oil's nice,
were
makes
driving
clothes.
along. There you go, polyester. But we were driving along, and there's this like, we just happened upon this reservation, or not, what am I saying? This reservoir,
Mm.
and it was frozen solid. Like there
Oh,
was
that's
like
cool.
5 feet of ice on top of it. Like we walked out and we're chucking rocks like
Probably
boulders.
driven
onto
on it,
wasn't
honestly.
good. Yeah.
Been fine.
So That was kind of neat, but it's nothing's there and it's freezing. So
Yeah.
that's like
in
straight
Oregon,
up
we don't get a lot of snow,
F
so we
tier
get
state.
excited when we see like snow on ice.
Yeah, we do have
Um,
to explain that.
yeah.
F tier. F tier state. But
Really?
that's
Okay.
from North Dakota
Well, I'm
specific.
putting this all in the same. And I did watch Fargo literally last night, and that's a fun movie, but it literally is like it just shows that it's just a cold wasteland.
Yeah. South Dakota, it's got the Black Hills. I forgot what it is. Anyway, it's where Mount Rushmore is.
Yeah.
Really
I
cool.
heard it's very
Um,
underwhelming though. Like it's very small.
It is very underwhelming. Very underwhelming. I was saying that the
But still
hills
a cool
are,
feet, but yeah.
Mount Rushmore is very underwhelming. It's
Yeah.
not good. And I almost slipped and broke my back there. That was scary.
Oh.
Besides that though, because it was super icy, went there during spring break. It's F tier.
Okay, I'll just put all right,
Like-
so we're saying Nebraska.
Not all the Midwest.
Yeah, no, I'm not putting the Midwest in there. I don't know if Iowa is that Midwest? Is Iowa, Nebraska Midwest?
Iowa is the Midwest.
What about Nebraska?
No, I don't know what Nebraska is.
All right, Nebraska, I'll just clump in there because we don't care.
I've
And then
never been to
Minnesota's
Nebraska.
also
I
in
can't
there.
say anything about it. So
Wisconsin, I'm going to throw in there because I don't really have anything else to say about it. So those northern states we're just getting rid of.
I think
I'll just,
cheese, right? They have cheese.
Wisconsin. I like cheese, but Oregon has cheese, so take that.
Good cheese. Oregon is good.
Go buy
Tillamook? Oh,
Tillamook, people. It's
Yes,
it's expensive, but
support Oregon brands. It's very expensive if you're not in Oregon.
No.
Even in Oregon, it's
I don't
not
even think
cheap.
it comes from Oregon anymore, though. You can buy it anywhere, but
Oh, it's shipped out of Oregon.
Texas. We're kind of just going down. Let's just cover Texas, though.
I don't like. Oh well, Oklahoma. What about Oklahoma?
No, we're skipping that. And we'll go back to it. I'm just going down to
I never-
Texas.
I never
Texas
been
is just so big. I don't know how to fit it into this.
I've only been to the Dallas Fort Worth airport.
I've never been to
So-
Texas, so
I can't
Buc-ee's.
say that I've seen much of Texas. I've seen out the window and it looked really boring. My dad's been there. He didn't care for it too much. But I mean,
all
I
right.
got good
Here's
food. I've heard.
Here's my
Got the
thing.
coast.
Texas is one of those states like Oregon that covers a lot of different biomes and stuff, like different, like biomes and people, and it also has larger cities that are pretty. I don't know. I feel like a lot of these cities are probably
It's a
pretty
big
cool.
deal. Yeah.
It does suffer from natural disasters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
tornadoes
And it's
and
very-
whatever,
Charged.
or not tsunami. What are the typhoons? Storms, big tropical
Hurricanes.
storms. Not tropical, just big
Hurricanes.
storms. Hurricanes, yes.
Hurricanes.
I can't think. So I will put it. Oh, a lot of Texans are gonna be mad, depending on where we
They're
put
going to be
this.
very angry. That's one thing. Texans love their state. That's one of the reasons
Can you
why
support
I
some
have it.
good patriotism? Do you think that patriotism deserves an A?
No.
Oh,
No, because I
You
think
wanna-
it borders on an unhealthy amount of pride.
oh, okay.
Like to the point where a lot of Texans' patriotism towards their state can supersede the patriotism towards
The country.
to the country, and I think that's not good.
Yeah.
I love Oregon.
I
That's
would put
for me.
it as an S tier because I don't want. I like Texans,
No, don't put it as an S tier. Do not put it as an S tier.
but I will put it in a whatever tier you want. So, but you're taking this all. This is all on your shoulders. I'm washing my hands.
Pontius Pilate over
Yeah.
here. B.
B
It's a B
tier.
tier.
Okay.
I don't have enough experience with it, and my experience I've had with it is like kind of meh. So,
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Well, yeah, invite us if any Texans. I have families in Texas. Invite us if you pay for us to fly out. We'll go down there and check it out. We'll change it,
give us room and board and a flight.
and we'll probably really
We'll
like it. We'll
change
probably
that
throw it in S
ranking.
tier. All right. Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Interesting
know
play.
But darn thing about it,
I don't know anything
except-
about it.
except Dust Bowl and the Tulsa race riots. That's
Oh,
that's all I
the
know.
historical thing. F tier.
It's
Because you did one
historical
thing
thing.
once. Actually, they probably did a bunch. I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything because I don't know anything.
they killed a lot of minorities, and
That's
they
not good. I don't know why I
choked on
laughed.
Dust. a decade.
Yeah.
Choked on dust for a decade. So I
Oh, the
and
Dust
the
Bowl was
team
there?
went to California. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Dust Bowl was kind of it was mainly Oklahoma, but it was also the surrounding areas. So like North
All right, C or
Texas,
F?
Nebraska.
Because I feel bad putting something in C, but we also don't know much about it, and I guess that's kind of bad on their part, right? Because we don't know. Us normal folks, Western folks, don't know.
Advertise your state better.
Gotta
I
advertise.
mean, it
So
used to
yeah,
be Indian territory. I would say
F tier.
probably
Just kidding.
F, yeah, or
Um,
C. C. Okay.
it's F, and I spelled that horribly. Um, okay. What do we have left? Let's just say Midwest, and we can do Midwest, the Great Lake regions, Northeast. Maybe do New York by itself, and then the South, which would include, and maybe Florida by itself.
There has to be some nuance in the South because there's parts of the South I really like and some parts of the South I don't. So
All right, we can discuss it, but I'm putting it together because it's my podcast, Jack's Cast,
and we're
sponsored
also
by
running late.
Sharpie. Just kidding.
It's not
All right, where should we
have,
go?
like,
Let's go.
viewers.
Let's go. Great Lakes region.
Great Lakes, never been.
Me either.
I've been to Ohio, and which borders Lake Ontario.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot to do there. I think it's just like they just watch racing and ice fish.
Hockey.
Hacky.
I don't know. There's a lot. Supposedly,
It kind of goes in the
Michigan,
northern states.
really not Michigan. Minnesota has really good. Minnesota. It has like
Minnesota.
really good, like nature, but I've never been there. So
It doesn't have Appalachian Mountains, which I think are sick. But
well, yeah. But it's
uh,
supposedly it's got like 10,000 lakes or something. I forgot. They have
Yeah.
like they
oh, the Lake
themselves
State, yeah. I'm gonna let's say C tier.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it. Yeah, I mean, Ohio was like it was only interesting because we were going on a church history trip,
Yeah.
and so as a Latter-day Saint, I really love our church's history, and for a while, I don't know why. I mean, I do know why.
Aren't
but
like those? Where did Lewis and Clark leave? Which like state has the big arch?
actually, I think that's in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, Indiana. I don't think it's Indiana. I thought it was like Illinois, maybe.
Illinois. Oh, probably
What is that arch called?
St. Louis.
St. Louis, maybe?
No, well, the arch isn't, but
Missouri, Missouri Arch.
Gateway Arch. Oh, St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis. Okay. Yeah, the only cool thing about those states is literally it is where people left to go to the West. That's the only thing they have to cool. It's like them coming here.
Pretty good.
So it's like it's same
I mean,
with our
same
church
thing with-
history. It's cool because they ended up. No, I don't know. Maybe not our church history.
Oh.
Our church history has other.
Well, because they started building up there, and then they got pushed out by people that
Yeah.
didn't like them.
And then they ended up
So-
here, and that's the coolest part.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, I put them in C. Let's go Midwest.
Midwest.
Yeah.
Missouri was very underwhelming. I don't know. I haven't really been to Kansas City. I've only been to
Kansas,
Independence.
the city
Like I
just
said.
seems like it's just more of like suburbia and also kind of like that same Utah feel where it's just a lot of like Christian stuff going on. So you get a lot of like that.
Well,
that
It's also, yeah, I
weird
think it's
culture
got a bit of
stuff.
the Arizona feel with the like new build.
yeah,
It's like
I can
it's
see
very
that.
it's recently become a big deal, like it wasn't in the past. So I don't know.
There's a lot of
Missouri's-
people there. And but yeah,
Illinois
there's
is
not,
also
I feel like there's not a
meh.
lot of stuff to do.
I mean,
kind of.
for historical reasons, those states are interesting. For every other reason, the food's garbage. The like we
that
try to
makes
get
sense.
barbecue in Missouri. You know, you'd expect it to be good, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's Missouri and
It's
Kansas
like
City.
south. Yeah, kind
Mid.
of south. Huh.
No, the best barbecue I had was in Iowa,
That's
which
weird.
is really good.
Yeah.
It was like I literally downloaded Yelp and made an account just to rate it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and I haven't used Yelp since. but
Should
it was just-
Iowa
it was
go in a
that good.
special tier list then? Barbecue tier list?
I
I'll put
guess.
Iowa in barbecue tier list.
Iowa's S.
Oh, I can't spell it.
Us.
Iowa. Okay.
But besides that, there's nothing like driving through those states is pretty boring unless you have something historical to look at, specifically church history. Because
Yeah.
Nauvoo is really cool. If you're, I would say even if you're not a Latter-day Saint, like looking at the
History.
history of Nauvoo and just like it being, it rivaled
Cool.
Chicago, and then it, now it has like 900 people living in it,
Yeah.
and a temple. That's it.
So cool for history. So C or B? What are you thinking?
I'd say C. C for real.
All right. For the Midwest. Okay.
C for Midwest, for sure.
Okay.
That's a good name, though.
South.
South.
The
Okay.
South.
I like Virginia a lot.
It has
Very
a lot of
huge. But
history. Yeah.
yeah, well,
Seems like-
all of
and
those 13
Appalachian
colonies
Mountains.
have an amazing amount of history.
Yeah.
And yeah, in Roanoke, the place I visited in Virginia, is in the midst of the Appalachians, and so, or
Should we?
Appalachians,
Maybe we should divide it up to like
north, like the,
southeast and southwest. Sounds weird. That's not the southwest. But like, I'll just say south and
what about the
southeast.
South and the Deep South?
Yeah, that works. South and the deep south. Yep, I like that.
Because that's kind of the way a lot of people describe them anyway. Because yeah, like Virginia and North Carolina, like I like those states a lot. They're really neat states. I like Virginia way more than North Carolina, but like driving through them, gorgeous states.
Yeah,
they're a
the
bit more
drives are pretty
educated.
cool, especially in the fall. You get to see like all the green.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And I don't know, just going through the rolling hills of the Appalachians, and
it kind of reminds me of
driving
Hawaii a
Roanoke.
little bit too, because Hawaii kind of has like that. Some parts, at least where we were at, I kind of have that same like you're rolling through and there's a bunch of green around you. I don't know.
Hawaii, you said?
Hmm.
Where in Hawaii did you go?
I don't know. Where's the place where Pearl Harbor is? So which island?
Oahu.
Oh, I think it was
Oahu.
there. We went to 2 islands though. I'm pretty sure it was because we drove out of the city because we flew into the city that's near there and then kind of drove. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
for a little
so
bit of it, but yeah.
I'd say that, like,
Because they have the big
Virginia's
leafy
cool.
trees, I guess, and Hawaii has those same big like leafy trees.
deciduous.
Yeah,
yeah.
deciduous.
So yeah, the South, like not the deep South, but the normal
Yeah, the South.
the educated South. I would
Burn.
classify that as a solid A.
I agree. I like all the like the spooky stuff that kind of happens. It also kind of happens in the Northeast too, but it kind of goes up there. Like all the, I don't know. They just like you just go out in the woods and there's like I just heard this from other people. You go out in the woods and there's just like just structures out there that are hundreds of
Sure.
years old and it's just like sick.
That's
Like
Yeah.
there's also haunted and there's so many cryptids.
Well,
It's cool.
When you realize that those
I'll put
states
it-
are named after, like, Virginia, it's named after the Virgin Queen Elizabeth. Like,
Who's
do you know
dead.
how long ago Elizabeth I was?
Yeah, pretty
It
long.
was like 1600s, and they were naming the state after her at that point. Like,
Yeah.
this state's got 400 years of European history. It was a long time
Yeah.
for an American. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Uh,
think I put it in high A tier. Next to
Yeah.
Alaska and Washington, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's fine. I agree with that.
And DC was kind of neat too.
all
but
right,
that's
Deep
where that's
South.
where you start hitting the merge. Deep South. I've been to Georgia. And
Yeah, I haven't
liked
been to any of the
parts
Deep South. You've probably been there. I watched the Duck Dynasty, so I know like Louisiana. So that's kind of.
I've been to Georgia. That's the only Deep South state I've been to,
Mhm.
and cool state. Parts of it
Hmm.
did not have a good coast, but it had really cool salt marshes, and so there was like, I don't know. I'd rank that as a solid like B.
I'm done
And
with
I
that.
think Georgia for the Deep South is like the most, besides Florida. But Florida, a lot of people don't consider that the Deep South, but we're just gonna group it in.
Well, no, I'm gonna do Florida separate.
Oh, you are? Okay.
It's kind of like a
Georgia's
Texas.
the most. I'd say Georgia's the most dignified Deep South state.
Yeah.
Um,
Although I just love Duck Dynasty is such a fun show, and they made a podcast, Duck Call Room podcast. That's also just so fun. They're just, at least
know
those
that.
guys they're funny guys. I don't know. I love me some good rednecks, just good down to earth people. Even though you would probably disagree,
Hey.
but
Like, I like people
you
that
got
are
the
educated.
Southern hospitality, and they're pretty Christian and have pretty good morals. At least in Duck Dynasty, and like
So
I
probably
I
don't
know
like us very
the
much.
dad said some controversial stuff we won't get into, but he does have a
About
pretty cool like conversion
gay
story, I would say.
homosexual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like he was dry or just a heavy drinker. It sounded like, and just kind of like, I don't know if he was physically abusive, but at least like verbally abusive to his wife, and then he kind of just found God and stopped his ways. And everybody's on a journey. I don't know. I'm not gonna go in and say he might not be all the way, but at least that part of his journey is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'd say-
what did you say, B?
Deep South is a B.
All right, I'm down with that.
Yeah. Sure.
And I don't know if I would go down there, and I don't think I would fit in because I have soft hands, and
You would not fit in.
yeah.
Well, you also are. I don't want to sound like a jerk, but as an Oregonian,
Oh.
I feel like you were taught more.
Oh,
Like you
I
were
see.
taught to think more. And a
Yeah.
lot of them, they have a lot more tradition and these things that control their lives, and we're not that way.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know, I wouldn't conform well to that kind of a
Yeah.
society.
Well, we'll talk about I have something to say about the Northeast culture. We'll get into that, but Florida.
Florida, I never been.
Me either. Humid, pretty miserable,
It sounds
hot.
awful.
Yeah.
It sounds awful.
It does
I
have
mean-
really cool cities, and I feel like Disneyland is a huge deal. It's like one of the biggest
Wildlife.
parks in the world. Wildlife, yeah, the Everglades or whatever, pretty cool. Saltwater
Manatees,
crocodiles.
gators.
Yeah,
I want to go to the Keys. The Keys would be really cool.
yeah.
You
Well,
can see
and
Cuba.
I'm not into that weather stuff, but I can appreciate it from a distance, I think. So, a lot of wild, crazy people, obviously, but I think they kind of get blown up in the internet. It's just kind of a meme. I feel like it's mostly just retired old people, and
Well,
just
it is.
like, and just
Well,
Disney
it's like
parents.
it's like the Deep South if it was dropped into like a tropical paradise.
Yeah. So you think an A
And then it
tier?
just did its own thing. No, gosh, no.
You would put a B with the Deep South?
I probably put it C.
Lower, okay. Yeah, I guess I'll agree. C tier. I'll put a high C. Florida. All right.
Florida.
How do I want to
Going
do
north.
this? Okay, I'm gonna keep New York as its own thing, and it's really just gonna be New York City because that's honestly like a state in its own because it's so big and different from the rest
It
of
is
the
the
North.
capital. It is the capital of the world. So
Yeah. All right, let's go New York. New York, New York, or just
now you and I differ in opinions on this quite a bit.
yeah.
I love New York City.
Yeah.
I would not want to live there, but I think it's a very cool place. There's history every block you turn. Amazing food. Amazing food. Like, I'm a food tourist.
Yeah.
Whenever I go somewhere, I try the food. Oh my gosh. The food in there is so good. So, amazing food, history at every turn, amazing public transportation. Which I'm a big fan of, actually.
Someone from
I wasn't
Japan is gonna be like, "What are you talking about? It's the
Well,
worst."
okay, yeah, but
Yeah.
Japan, we can't compete with Japan.
But in the United States, it is probably
Yes,
the best.
in the United States, they have probably the best public transportation. They have amazing buses, amazing subways. I mean, just cool. Politics, I don't like. It's a massive city,
Yeah.
so I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have that many people that I'm dealing with.
It's
I
crowded.
don't want to live in an apartment that costs $1 million.
It gets pretty hot.
And it does get hot. It gets cold and it gets hot. But that's the problem with the entire eastern half of the United States.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
pretty much every part of the United States. As Oregonians, we're blessed
I know.
because we never had to deal with like
Super
intense
crazy change in
climate
temperature.
differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say like New York City to me as a city is A tier.
Okay, I'm down with that. I think it is. Yeah, it
And
has a lot of culture. It has a lot of like, um, just yeah. I know I've only been there once, and I think it just has a lot of like media, not media, but like just movie like pop culture stuff. Like New York is like it's in every movie ever. Like I
the
don't know. If
entire
somebody makes a
world knows.
series on like if you make a movie and you decide to make a series, one of those series is going to be based in New York. Home Alone. No, just kidding, I don't know. But like you think of I don't know a series, they always end up in New York. Home Alone, A Quiet Place, they go to New York. The Walking Dead, it's kind of like a lot of post-apocalyptic movies they end up going there. But like I don't know, I feel like it's such a cultural icon, and just so yeah, so much history and
Yeah.
yeah, like I
Well,
said, I don't like cities, but I can appreciate the culture. I honestly would just like want to be Superman or something, just fly over New York and look down at all the people. I don't know. I like how I like looking at. I don't like being down in the crowded city with all the people bussing
yeah,
around.
the canyons, the building canyons can make it claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But also another reason why it's A tier, it just has so much power. And you're talking about the media influence, but also political influence, um, and just economic influence. I mean, it literally is the capital of the
Yeah.
world.
Well,
If you
stock
look at your
exchange. Yeah.
phone, yeah, if you look at your phone and you look at the stock app, the two first things you're gonna see are the New York Stock Exchange and the Nasdaq,
Mm-hmm.
and both of those are like half a mile away from each other in New York.
Yeah.
So like it really is the capital of the world. It has the United Nations. It has everybody's money, and
Yeah.
like it is.
Are we
It is.
thinking a lower S tier?
Are you willing?
I'm fine.
I'd say lower S tier.
I'm just thinking about. I love Home Alone's my favorite Christmas movie. I'm just thinking about Home Alone in New York, whatever it's called, Home Alone 2, and now it's like it's stuck there.
Yeah, I'd
So
say I'd say it's a low S tier. I still wouldn't live there.
also outside because
But
this is still kind of the state, and I heard New York, like North New York State, is like super pretty. So there you go, S tier.
upper New York, yeah, yeah, because I would consider um upstate New York to be considered pretty
And its
much
own
just
thing. I think I would consider with the North.
it's the Northeast
Yeah, but
because
I
the
think
culture
it
there is
technically
the
is
North.
in New York, so I think that can push it up to an S, in my opinion.
Okay, there you go. Yes.
And yeah,
Also, church history there is kind of neat with
that's true.
Palmyra. Yeah.
Church history there. All right, Northeast, last one. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. Yeah.
Northeast. I have never been to the
I have.
Northeast. You have. You have been to Maine.
I've been to Maine. I've
Um,
been to Maryland. We went all because my dad served his mission there.
does Maryland really count?
That's Northeast.
Yeah.
It's like in the middle of Northeast, right?
Oh, it's like on the border with the South. Okay, I
It's
guess we consider
literally above
Maryland.
Massachusetts.
Maryland?
Yeah,
No, it's not.
it's in between Mass or New Hampshire. What did I say?
Maryland.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Maryland.
New Hampshire. Did I say Maryland?
You said Maryland.
My bad. I meant New Hampshire. I'm
I was
tired.
like, Maryland borders Virginia.
Yeah.
Like,
My
yeah.
bad. My bad. No, I meant New Hampshire because my dad served his mission there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in New Hampshire. It's pretty cool.
Like the least religious state. Vermont's the least religious state, but New
It's
Hampshire's
right next to it. Yeah.
close section.
We went to this old library in New Hampshire, and it was so sick. Like it was just like you think of like a movie, they go to like the old library. It was like literally that, and we knew the librarian who worked there, so it was like after dark and nobody was there. It was so nice. You can kind of see a trend. I don't like people, but and they had like I feel like they had like a set of armor there randomly. It was kind of like a museum mixed with a library. It was cool. And
Should
then
we
apparently.
do?
Some
Sorry.
guy like fell into one of the, or it was living in one of like the ducts and it got trapped because they found like they opened up one of the side, they found a skeleton, a bunch of like unopened bottles of Coca-Cola and like a stack of books. It's like pretty cool, just like in the side. It's just there's stuff like that there's just everywhere, and this is just some random public
terrifying.
library. It's like, yeah.
That
So
is terrifying.
Yeah.
That scares the crap out of me. Finding a skeleton in your duct.
Yeah.
Um, I I don't have any experience with it, so I can't
No.
speak to it. I
Um.
mean, I love the idea of going to Maine,
Mhm.
like that kind of stuff. Seems cool, but
They got lobsters, delicious. I want. We don't really have like. We have more fish in Oregon. That's kind of like our seafood thing. We do have crabs and stuff, but I feel
there's
like
a lot of
you
crabs.
go to Maine, you get the crab roll, you get the lobster. Um, in Oregon, it's like, yeah, you go, like, we've been going and getting crabs and stuff. But I don't know, I feel like it's just kind of like it's their thing, and like we have them, but our thing's like salmon and rivers and fish and stuff, and
Yeah,
berries, and they kind of have the
yeah.
lobster
We have
more.
we have Dungeness crab. That's a big
Mm,
thing here in Oregon. But the bluefin crab are just so iconic.
yeah,
I
and
can't even think about
lobster.
it. And lobsters, especially lobsters, are really iconic. I know that I like. I have this. I follow this guy on YouTube Shorts,
Uh huh.
and he's a lobster fisher, a
That's awesome.
lobster catcher in Maine, and he
Oh.
just talks about lobsters, and I'm like, oh, awesome.
I didn't. I think I learned this probably in high school, maybe middle school, but it was like the lobsters aren't actually like red when you, and they can be, but it's like they turn that bright color because they're cooked. And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they're kind of
Everybody
darker
probably
color.
knows that, but I was like, but in like
Some of them are
cartoons,
blue.
yeah, but in cartoons they are like you see a red lobster in a cartoon, and they're not actually like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
cartoons mess you up. Don't watch cartoons, kids. Watch R-rated Rambo.
Yes,
Action,
you
yes.
see
Pacific
too
Northwest
many.
again. Just kidding. Rambo was actually the book was in the South. I don't know where, but in the Appalachian Mountains.
That's really
Kind of
funny.
cool. Yeah,
I think Washington is a very fitting place for Rambo. You know,
it
when I
works
was
very
driving through
well.
Coeur d'Alene,
Hmm.
I went to a place called Saint Mary's, just south of Coeur d'Alene. It had like literally the town from Rambo. Like it was
Oh, that's
literally
awesome.
like it had like the mountains and
Hmm.
the greenery and the the hicks
That's so
and
cool.
like I don't know. It was just so cool. We went to this diner and everybody knew each other on a first name basis.
That's so cool.
It was like it was just the coolest little
Yeah.
and like I don't know, politically obviously I knew what side they were, but like that kind of like faded away when it was like I don't know, if I was stuck in this community, I would totally be that way, you know?
Yeah.
Like I understand where they're coming from politically.
Yeah.
Um
It is fun. All right, back to
anyway.
Northeast. Um, they are very forward in Northeast, and
Mhm.
that's not. We're
I
kind
do
of a
know that.
little nicer. We're not as nice as like the South, but we are pretty like we're not like you need to go do this, or we're kind of like, oh, could you please? Yeah, they're very like forward, which isn't like super fun. It's very different, but to them it's normal. And also, I've been to an island in Maine, Vinyl Haven. You can take like a hour and a half ferry ride out there, and you only
Sounds
get
like
there by ferry. It's so cool, and it's just
sounds like
like you come in, it's
something with like
foggy. It's just like you get there, and it's just like it's just the
like
town, the little main street, and there's like quarries on the island. You jump in the it's fun.
it's like Dracula.
Yeah, and it's like just
Um
it's like a Stephen King book. It's like yeah, you show up.
well
Yeah.
and when you describe Vinyl Haven it reminds me a lot of the San Juan Islands and
It definitely. I've been to both. Yeah, it's for sure. It feels a little bit more secluded because the San Juan Islands are pretty like tight, yeah, like
yeah.
close together. Um, and not as the San Juan Islands are. I feel like more vertical. It was pretty flat there. Um, and like
Vinyl
I feel
Haven's
like it was more foggy. Honestly, that just might have been the times I went. Um,
well, Maine is also infamous for fog.
yeah,
So
so it's just super spooky. I honestly would put Northeast in S. Just talking about.
and it sounds a lot like Oregon.
Yeah, it
So
literally is like they're kind of next to each other almost. Yeah,
so I would agree with that even though I don't have much
I
of an
think I
idea
like
of
the
what it's
people
like.
in Oregon more than the Northeast people, but I think the Northeast has a lot
You
more
have to give it to
history
the
than Oregon
Northeasterners though.
does.
Yeah. You have to give
Um,
it to them though. They're thinkers. They're thinkers.
yeah,
They're
smart
not
guys.
they're not like you know, backwater hicks, right? They're
Or
like I
like
mean some of them
hippies.
are.
Uh, or
At
like
least in New York I know there's definitely backwater hicks.
yeah,
But in
maybe in Maine it may not be so much that way.
All right, and I think that is everything on our tier list.
What,
Let's
what
do a
about
real.
what about what about DC?
I put that with Northeast, but we can talk about DC.
I don't know. It's kind of a neat.
One of my
little-
roommates is from DC.
Really,
He
it's a place.
he knows a bunch of three-letter agency workers, and they're kind of hush hush. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool.
My grandma grew up in Alexandria, which is just, I mean, the Pentagon's in Alexandria. It's just across the river from the capital. And I visited DC. Really neat. Very humid. Tiny roads.
Northeast is also very
Tiny
humid.
roads.
I forgot to mention. Like in the summer, it gets That's the
Oh,
also
I mean-
thing. But fireflies, they have that. But yeah, sorry.
That's so cool. Anyway, capital of the nation. Pretty cool. Congress.
Cool history.
The president.
I like the National Treasure. Good movie. Based on a
When
true
we went
story.
there, Roe v. Wade had just been overturned, and so.
What's your thoughts on that? Just kidding.
We can talk about that later. No, we walked by we walked by the Supreme Court. We just walked by the Capitol,
Mhm.
and it was only a few months after January 6th, and so the Capitol was like still on lockdown. Like we were
Really?
allowed in, look around, but like you weren't allowed to see the legislature, the
Oh,
Congress.
interesting.
You weren't allowed to go in anymore, and like there was just guys walking around with freaking ARs like everywhere. Like all the police had
That's,
like heavy
that's pretty
guns.
cool. They're just like, they're all ready to go to war. Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's
they're ready
crazy.
to kill somebody. But the Supreme Court building was surrounded by like 10-foot tall reinforced fences,
Yeah.
like because they were expecting massive
World War Z.
backlash
Yeah.
from the overturning Roe v. Wade, which actually turned out that the protests were really mild,
Nice.
which is
Good
kinda
job,
funny.
America.
Like,
Good job.
yeah, not trying to break
You
into it.
shouldn't. You shouldn't destroy stuff during a protest. That's anti. Or it doesn't
Yes.
make any sense.
It is not very American
Yeah.
to do
You
that.
can
but
peacefully
anyway.
protest.
Yes, but once you start threatening the domestic tranquility, which is in the preamble of the Constitution, that we promised.
When you
to
start
uphold.
ruining other people's rights, you should die. Just kidding. Should die.
That's crazy.
That's not good.
Anyway, so yeah, DC was cool.
Mhm.
I've heard that parts of it are really sketch, but I have not been to those parts. So I rate
Yeah.
it as an
That's with any city. I feel like though. I actually have been to DC. I don't know if you know this. When I was very
I
little.
didn't.
It was probably the first time. At least it's definitely the first time I remember going to the East Coast because we saw. I think it was when Drew and Katie were getting married.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's where I went because we went. It was pretty. So they're super rich, their side of the family. So we went to this super nice house. We stayed in a room. There's like a pool there. We went outside. It was right up next to like some river. I don't know. This is Maryland, and like I remember taking a boat ride to go to this restaurant to have crab and stuff.
Yeah. They
Or, like,
just
lobster.
casually go on
Yeah, just
cruises.
casually just driving on a boat to go to this restaurant and like
I
park
know,
the boat
it's
and
like-
go out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the same trip. But then like later we went to DC and then, we went. I remember this from Night Museum, but yeah, you go where all the buildings are, all the museums, and there's like the water in the middle.
The
What is that called?
Smithsonian and everything.
Yeah.
That is really cool. The
Oh.
Capitol Mall.
Yeah, so I remember going on the museums as a kid. I'm like, oh, the space, or I don't think we got to go into the cool plane one, which I would have loved. We went like the Natural History
We
Museum.
didn't go to that either. It was
Yeah.
under renovation when we went.
Yeah, it's kind of bummer.
No,
I did
it
get to go
was
in the White
so
House.
cool. You did?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go. We
Yeah,
we
I don't
were,
remember. I remember
it
the
was-
different colored rooms. They have like a red room and a green room. That's like all I remember. I don't remember the Oval Office because I didn't care. I was super young. I'm kind
And
of
as
bummed
I
out.
said, it was a few months after January 6th, so they weren't giving
Yeah, they're
tours.
definitely not.
I mean, pretty much the entire city of DC. You were allowed to tour and go around and look at stuff, but it was like there was an aura that was like everybody was slightly uneasy, where it was this feeling of like the capital of the nation had been scarred, and I don't know if it's still like that, but
Yeah,
at least at that time
Oh,
you
yeah.
could feel that everybody kind of felt a little bit
that's cool.
on edge.
I know it's not cool, but it's it's interesting.
But it's
to experience
interesting.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Um,
also shows like to the people that think that it wasn't like a big deal, like the people there think it was a
yeah.
pretty big deal.
Probably was.
The police with the ARs think it's a pretty big deal. That's why
Yeah.
they're ARs and not just pea shooters like they did when
Yeah.
it happened.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Um,
um,
yeah. So, oh yeah, when I went, Obama was president, so everybody was pretty chill.
Obama.
Obama, and he wasn't there. I thought I was gonna see him, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool. But I didn't, because he was like not there. It was, yeah, I don't even know how we got in, but it was really cool. All right, A tier for, I don't know. It's a city.
Well, we ranked New York though.
I know. I'm just saying that I wouldn't.
Oh,
I would
Yeah,
put it
I
in low S tier. I think.
I wouldn't put it in S tier because
Yeah, I wasn't thinking S tier.
I enjoyed New York a lot more.
Okay, I'm
than-
fine with that. A tier,
Enjoyed
mid A tier.
A tier.
All right, DC. All right, I think that's everything. So let's just go over it real quick. Let's start with the bottom. So we have all the North states and Oklahoma at the bottom, because we really don't know much about them, and they're just kind of boring. So then in high or low C tier we got Nevada, and the the Great Lakes states. We also kind of don't know about a lot about them, and Nevada's just a hot desert, and the experience I've had. No, Las Vegas is a sin city. It should be destroyed. Just kidding. It's actually kind of a cool city, but like flying over it's really
Sodom and
cool.
Gomorrah.
But it just doesn't have a lot for us to do.
As Christian people.
Yeah. And then above that, in high C tier, we got Arizona, New Mexico, Midwest, and Florida. Yeah, it's kind of a collection of stuff, but I'm not super fine with all of those. I feel like they could have gone higher, but I don't like making people offended. So, and then in B tier, we got Idaho, Wyoming, Texas, and the Deep South, which I think Idaho should be higher. Probably
And I think
Wyoming
Idaho's
too.
lower.
And Texas, I thought should be higher. Deep South, I'm fine with being there.
Wyoming can move up. I don't have anything against Wyoming.
Yeah, I just feel like Wyoming's very similar to Idaho, in my opinion,
Well, Wyoming's got Yellowstone, so
because they're kind of right
that's
next to each other. Idaho has Yellowstone.
it has like an acre.
All right, so
And you guys don't even have the pretty side of the Tetons. The pretty side of the Tetons is Wyoming. So
all right, so low A tier, we got California and Utah. I'm surprised California went up so high, but yeah, it is a very pretty state.
it's just gorgeous. It just sucks that it has to be the way it is.
Yeah. And Utah, yeah, that's fine. Utah's I think it's a very pretty state. Got a lot of good stuff, and
Cache Valley, gorgeous.
yeah, that's where my grandparents
recently
live.
where Cache Valley was, yeah.
Uh,
Just Salt Lake and Utah valleys are kind of just like,
yeah, they're kind of mid.
and that's where the entire population of Utah
Yeah,
lives.
it's true.
They have like 4 million people or 5 million people that live in the state,
Yeah,
and
they're
then
all
like
in that area.
98% of them
It's
live
kind of
in
like
the valleys.
Oregon, though, where everybody lives in the Willamette Valley. Oh, there are a
Yeah.
decent amount in Bend and Southern. I don't know.
We have our population a lot more spaced out compared to
That's true.
Utah. Utah is just like this pocket of like 2.5 hour drive, and it's just that.
Yeah,
But like the Willamette Valley goes on for like 4
that drive
hours.
also stinks. Utah drivers are horrible. Like that highway,
Yeah.
everybody's just like speeding and
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a term here which actually applies well to the religion thing we were talking about. The fact that
Mhm.
everybody hears a lot of his name. They term it baptizing your car
What?
when you go over 100 miles per hour.
Oh my goodness. I've never
Which
heard
is
that.
really
That's funny.
funny. But I didn't know that until I came
Yeah.
here. Like they were talking about there's some guys and there's some guys talking about baptizing their cars, and I was like, what the heck are you talking about?
That's really
You didn't
funny.
even
I don't-
wash?
I-
Like what?
And I don't know how fast I've gone. I might have gone 90 is my fastest. I'm going down a road, it's like 80. Everybody's going like 90 already.
Everybody's going like 100.
Yeah. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever gone to 100 though. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't really care about that stuff because I'm a good boy. All right, mid A, we got Montana, Colorado, and DC. I feel like Montana and Colorado are just like for the spectacular views, and DC is for the history and vibes. And then
the power.
yeah, top A tier, Alaska, Washington, and South. And South, I'm surprised got up there that far. But it is
cool.
interesting. Appalachian Mountains, like I said, that's probably what
Really
sticks
nice.
out in my mind. Yeah.
I think of Roanoke and the Appalachians. That's where I visited, which is just gorgeous.
And then low S tier, we got Hawaii and New York. Which I feel like I took those vacations with my family like really close to each other, which is kind of funny. And I wasn't super excited about either of them. So, and they're in S tier. So those are kind of Elijah's S tier picks. Also, is Oregon and Northeast, but Northeast was kind of my thing. I kind of pushed for that.
But Oregon is your pick too, right?
Yeah, I guess. No, it is.
You can't betray the land of your inheritance.
Oh. And then we got Iowa and cheese tier. Or
Yes.
no, barbecue tier.
Barbecue tier, not cheese tier. No,
My bad.
I haven't tried Wisconsin cheese, so I don't know what it's like.
All right. Well, that was fun. A fun
That was long.
podcast. That was very long. I don't know how long that was.
You might have to clip that together.
Yeah, I probably not, but I'm too lazy. I'm gonna have to rewatch this whole thing. It'll be fun. Just kidding. If anybody knows an editor for free, send them my way. No, but yeah, I think that was a pretty overall good. I feel like you were fine with everything on there. I probably would have moved up Idaho and Texas,
I just Idaho.
and that's really it. Just everything in the B tier, or not the Deep South, but everything else. But yeah, but
We had to make a
that's
compromise.
the show,
Because
everyone.
compromises are how America is built.
You say
One
colonizers?
must compromise.
Oh,
Compromise.
I think you're right.
Good.
All right.
Conquering Native Americans is how we built this
Oh, okay.
nation.
All right. Before we say anything else, let's get out of here. So, thank you so much for listening
Bye-bye.
to this wonderful Jack's cast, and please like. I don't know
Episode
if you can
1.
like episode 1. Yeah.
Pilot.
Episode 1, the pilot. No, the state tier list. But yeah, please leave a rating on Spotify or however you
Putting
do
this on
that, and then
Spotify.
yeah, and then on YouTube do stuff. No, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, all the good stuff. But yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.